For those of you who just want to see the list, here are the 54 cards I currently have under consideration. This is my OP10.5 EBO2 list, and all I really did was add the 4 Beppos, but I haven't quite figured out the ratios that I want to play yet because the sim ain't updated and we don't really play with proxies that much. But as you will see, this is what I just considering for now. I may make a few changes because I saw someone using the 3-cost Bartolomeo. So as I go through the list, if you stick with me, you will see my thoughts on why I play in certain cards and if we should or what I can end up on, at least for my first event next week, which should be the Eggman event, where proxies are legal. I plan to play in that. So let me just go through the list. First up, I got 4 of the EBO2 carrots. Now, you normally just play this card on 3 Dawn. The well is a 1 cost. The effect don't work unless you got 3 Dawn. You get to look at the top 7 for a Zoa card. And even if you don't find one, you can play one if you have it in your hand. Normally, I only play this when I have 1 Zoa in my hand. Because I find that even with whatever percentages you work out, can't remember the word that coming to me now, I just miss a lot with this card. And then I just bottom 7 cards that some I may need. So I normally don't play this unless I have Zoa in my hand. And other than that, it's just a good 2K. It's searchable. Yeah, it's searchable. It's help add it to your 2Ks. And the one other duty it has is, let me say you don't have anything on the field and you need something so you can use your leader effect. Obviously, my leader is Carrot. This is a cheap way to enable your leader effect. So basically, you're paying 1 cost to rest a 5 or less. Not a bad deal in an emergency. Next up, we have 4 Wanda. Wanda's the next card I have. There's the Searcher for Minx. It's still a great card. I know that we could search Beppo. It makes you think, do you really need Duffy? But that's a discussion for when we get further down the deck list. Wanda is your typical top 5 searcher. Search for a Mink, except for Wanda, which we don't play any more Wandas. Put it in your hand, bottom the rest. Great searcher. Also a good 1-cost enabler and a 1-cost enabler for Carrot's leader effect. So we play the 4 Wanda. 4 Milky. Crazy 2K. Well, not that crazy, but a strong 2K. I don't play on the field as much as I used to, but when you play, you can activate me and rest this character and restand the Dawn. This, in combination with the stage, mean you can restand 2 Dawn at a time. And like, it used to come up in the past, but I found I mostly use this as a 2K now. I don't bother to play it with the stage as much. Or I don't bother to play it on the field as much. But it's still handy sometimes, and it is a 2K. So we play it because it's a searchable 2K. Next, we have 2 Shishilian. This is your restand on, and I am excited to play this with the advent of Beppo. Like, restanding Beppo to swing again, and I still got so much Dawn left, gives me such a power play that we never had before. Because the biggest thing we can restand, like in this deck list, is 5 cost 6K Carrot. So being able to restand a monster that's 10 cost 11K is going to be crazy for 4 Dawn. Maybe I might have to up this. I don't know. But for right now, I think 2 should still be good. I don't see a reason to play it more than 2. But this is on play. Pay 2. And I had to pay 2 to play it. So you pay 4 Dawn. Restand one main character. That's it. So you could swing twice for Beppo on the next turn. Crazy card. Next, we have 3 Consulate. Now, I don't think a lot of people play this anymore, but I still do. Because it's a nice 3 Dawn play, and it can still... Because when you got it on the field, like we say you play on 3, your opponent plays Kuzan, 4 cost Black Kuzan. You can rest Kuzan with your lead effect. Swing with this. You don't even have to swing for 5. Just swing with this, and you can freeze that Kuzan. And I find the tempo from a player like that still come in handy very often. Because Consulate is when attacking up to one of your opponent's 4 costs or less characters cannot restand at their next refresh phase. If this was like Carrot and was an on play and when attacking, it'd be even better. But even as a when attacking, if you play on 3 Dawn, it's a good card. And when you can't play, it's still 1K counter, so it's not horrible. I like it as a 3 cost play. Next up, we have 4 Tashigi. I have a very bad love-hate relationship with this card. Part of the problem is that like I used to be playing against a lot of black decks, and they still are able to remove the Tashigi and remove something else. So normally I just lose a 2k, which is why I got 8 other 2ks for a total of 12 2ks in this deck. Because a lot of my 2ks, I may have to play them on the board. So 12 is a good number. Tashigi does come in handy a lot. Sometimes, like if you're playing against blue, like people that only remove one thing a turn, it does come in handy. It just really throw them off. But like, I have a very like love-hate relationship with Tashigi. I think it's an amazing card, but I cannot search it, and sometimes it just let me down when I put it on the field to protect something. I still lose Tashigi and the card I put to protect. Maybe because I protected like a 5 cost. That might be the problem, but I just don't know. But I can't get rid of it yet. Like, it's still a very amazing card. Next, we have 4 Pedro. Pedro is a card I was never like hyped about. He's a blocker, and on KO you can either KO a 6 cost, a rested 6 cost or less, or rest one of your opponent's done. I like personally think is still weak, but it does throw off your opponent. No matter how I try to say that I don't like it, I cannot deny that it throws off the opponent on how they want to play. They either have to like swing everything, rest all they're done. They can't try mind tricks as easily, because you have to play around the Pedro. Unless you could just straight, even if you try to straight remove it, you gotta make sure you attach Dawn and everything else first. So like, it does throw off the tempo, even if it's just a small little bit. Every little bit does count towards winning the game sometimes. And on 4 Dawn, he's a very strong player still, and you can't not give it a blocker. So like, he's a blocker at worst, and like a offset to the opponent's play style at best. So like, I just play 4, and it's searchable, so I can't complain. Next up, I got these 2 laws. These are a recent addition. I haven't tested these as much, the bounce laws, but they got some like kind of crazy combos where you could bounce something you have on the field and play like a Tashigi, so you get a law and Tashigi at the same time. That's one of the main combos I got it in for now. Or you could bounce something else and play a law and a mink, and then you got a mink on the field and you can rest something. So you could bounce and play back and wander if you really wanted to. Like, it got a few tricks up its sleeve that are quite amazing. So I ain't tested it yet. Like I said, there's like a very new addition, like right at the end of OP 10.5. I had just added this because I saw Monkey Fight TCG using it, and it was like, that's a good idea. So, and I thinking about adding in a couple more 3 costs that I saw him using to give the law a little more power, a little more combo. But it seems good in my head, but it needs more testing. Next up, I still play 2 Inuyasha. He not as good these days because freezing to 5 costs for 5 done ain't what it used to be like when you had Duffy in the meta and a lot more low cost units. Right now we're getting into a meta that got a lot of ramping and a lot of bigger cost units, so he don't hit as good as he used to, but he's still a 1k. He's a mink, and my local meta like quite different from the international meta, so he may still come in handy. But right now I have him on the chopping block, and I haven't decided if I go and chop him or not, because he could end up at 0, because I actually have Smoker in this deck as well, and I'm thinking about chopping Smoker between Smoker and him, and I think he can get chopped though, because I think I got like 34 minks currently still, so that's not too bad. But Inuyasha just saying what he used to be, but he's a mink. Next up, I got 4 of the All-Star Carrots. Everyone knows this card. You know, on play and when attacking, freeze a 7 cost. Everybody know this card. So like, then if ands or buts, every green deck there's probably play at least 2 of these, or probably 4. From Bunny, I don't know if the new OP11 are all playing any. I doubt, because he different. But every current green deck or trying to be a green deck would play these. Obviously not GP Luffy either, because he needs straw hats. But Carrot is one of the most insane cards they printed, and like, I never used to see it before, because like when I playing it, people used to play like Jack or you're playing against purple and all the body's big, so characters become useless quick. But Carrot still is still like, when she working. And if she can't get removed, that's what's made me sad now too. Yellow does remove 5 costs so easy right now that carrot values drop a good set. Like versus yellow, I just get a lot of trouble keeping cards on the board because I just run a lot of low cost units, a lot of 5 costs. But I really can't cry down carrot despite I get problems with it. It is an amazing card. Like when you're playing against things like Burgess and stuff, which is Consulate does do well too. I forget to say Consulate could freeze Burgess, which is kind of funny. But yeah, with carrot, like the effect is insane. Freezing a 7 or less for a 5 cost is crazy. And when it works, some decks just can't come back from carrot. So moving on. Next 2 cards I have are Smoker. No, I used to run Smoker at 4, then it cut to 2, and like, because 5 costs so easily removed, all Smoker does ever do for me these days is play, restand a Dawn, and then he's die. Like, hardly anybody's let Smoker live. If he live a turn, you apply a little pressure, but I am starting to doubt how worthwhile he is in this slot as a brick and a 5 cost. Like, it's kind of crazy that something that seems so strong just not doing what you need it to do most of the time. Like, I don't know if it's applied enough pressure in this deck specifically that I should keep 2 of them in. But like, this is where he was at the end of OP 10.5, and this is where he's starting in 11. He is on the chopping block for sure. And we gotta see where we go with that. Next up, I got 2 Zoro. Because removal got nerfed when they banned Ice Age and Gecko Moria, this is actually a pretty good card. It's good against Blackbeard too, which we got 2 Blackbeards in our 9-person meta. Like, if you slam this down and nobody can stop this is basically, you practically win the game unless I ain't got horribly wrong. The problem with this versus Blackbeard is that if they chain more Blackbeards than I chain Zoros, they can win. And like, I only run 2 Zoros, and all Blackbeards right now run 4 of the 10 cost Blackbeards. So like, and then sometimes the other matchups you don't really want to play Zoro because he's too slow. So like, I only run it at 2, and if I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't. I don't have a plan about playing around Zoro. But I heard he's also going into blue purple Luffy, so that's something else that I need to consider going forward. But for right now, I think I'm going to leave him at 4. At 2, sorry, I don't know why I'm talking. Next up, 4 Duffy. This is the pride and joy of green decks. The only boss monster we had since OP04. An insane boss monster. People can play around him, but it's very, very difficult for them to do so. Well, not very difficult, but when you can't play around this, or you chain these back to back, this is insane. And the reason why I like Duffy more than this new Beppo and Law, and I can start just calling it Beppo because I don't respect Law, is that Duffy could freeze a leader. Beppo's only freeze 1 card, and the 7k, the boost to 7k he gives you only works if the opponent got 2 or more rested characters. And my take is, if they already got 1 rested character and their leader rested, or they already have 2 rested characters, Duffy is better in every sense than Beppo. He gives you more control of the board. Like, it's so hard for me to consider cutting Duffy in this deck, and I don't know how I can do it yet, but I think that I need to try it, the deck without it, and see if I like 10 cost Beppo. Moving on though, we have the 0 cost event, the green 0 cost event. This is just to get rid of some of those bricks I have. Maybe if I reduce the bricks, I could cut this card, but for right now, this is turn a brick into 3k, turn a 1k into 3k if necessary. It does come in handy. Not really the trigger, but I just use it, and because I run bricks, I always find that I like to have 0 cost events. Next, we have 1 Garachu. This was my Blackbeard tech along with Zoro, but it's come in handy other matchups, but you don't want to see it that often. Basically, is rest 1 mate, and you can rest any card on the field. Because normally you can't rest a 10 cost or like When you playing against green purple, Sanji's go to 7. They think you can't rest it. This card can rest it. I don't think it deserves to go past 1 because it's a tech card. But maybe you can run 2 if you really want to. But it's also a brick, and the draw 1 on trigger ain't a game changing because like you're gambling on a trigger. So it's just here as a tech card, mostly for Blackbeard. Oh, and this will come in handy. You know, sometimes I've been getting problems with in my early testing of OP11, 8 cost category. I was testing the Bonnie deck, and 8 cost category, the purple one, has given Bonnie a lot of trouble because it restands on its own. It always there up, even if you use your effect on it. This might need to go up to help get past that. But also the long Beppo can rest 8 cost category. So I don't know if you need to take this up, but this is a good consideration. If you got a lot of 8 cost category and a lot of Blackbeard in your meta, you could probably up the amount on this. Next, I have 3 Lunas. I only started playing Luna when GP Luffy came out. It was never a card I liked because I found that between Carrot and Inirashi, the Carrot deck was able to get by without this. But after GP Luffy came out and he started swarming the board, I found it to be a problem. Like even with Duffy, I didn't find I needed Luna. Versus Blue Duffy, back in the day, I didn't need Luna. But since GP Luffy came to Rise, Luna has been exceptional in that matchup for me. So I don't think I could cut it yet unless GP Luffy fully disappears. My local meta, it give or take in my local meta, but I still think you should run Luna for now. It's still a very strong card. Maybe you could cut it to 2, and that's something I gotta think about. But that's something I gotta think about, like I said. And then next up, we have the 3 stages of Zo. Now, yes, Zo is strong. Yes, the Carrot can search it. But I still find that when I have 4, I just see it too often. Even with the 2-0 cost events, I find that I see it too often. No, the inverse is also true. Now that I at 3, sometimes I just don't see this card. Even with a Carrot that can dig 7, which is why I know that you shouldn't gamble with Carrot. I've played Wanda, I've played Carrot, and still didn't find a Zo. So like, I will play this zone for 3 if I have no other plays. But I also don't use the Carrot searcher to find this. Like, I just don't like the gamble anymore. I'd rather have the Carrots at 2k and wait till I get a Zo if I get one. But when you play the combo, it's still very strong. Zo is always give you an extra down. It can restand one of your makes to protect them. Like Pedro is made Pedro become a swinger. Consulate, if you swing with Consulate, they can't swing back into it and kill it. Of course, it could protect your Carrot from getting swing into. Like, Zo is is very good. A very good brick. And once you get one on the field, you don't need any more. So it's like, what do you do? Let me just run back through this. I should have sorted these out how you wanted. Things that I thinking about cutting. Not the Consulate. I am thinking about cutting the Smokers, the Duffies, and 1 Luna, I think. Right now, these are the cards that I am playing with around with cutting to fit in Law and Beppo. At first, I was just going to cut the 4 Duffies, but now I'm thinking I shouldn't, and I want to add in Bartolomeo as well. I was thinking about that, like, because Carrot is probably the best deck to use his effect, which is when you rest a character with your own effect, you could draw 1 and trash 1. I am thinking that I want to play that actually, but this is what I am thinking of going with for my final deck. But I thinking about taking back out I thinking about cutting in Irashino and putting back in Smoker. I can't remember, that is 4, 8, 12, 14, 17, 21, 25, 28, 28 minks, and if you add in these 3, you will get to 31. You still got a good search hit rate for minks if I cut in Urashi, and then the bricks would be 3 and 2's 5 and 2's 7 and 2's 9. 9 bricks and 12, 15. Like, I think I should cut Inirashi and keep the 2 smokers that I had from before. But this is probably what my final list can look like. But because it's semi-updated, I ain't really get to test it. But I thinking this is where I can start with Carrot. And I can update y'all a little later on how I want to do this. Like, no, that we done there. I could just swap back to full screen. I am thinking that talking about the channel now, if you're still here, I can lean it more into Gundam, but I had time constraints today, so I put out like 3 or 4 videos already this week on Gundam. This is just a in between where we'll update my other games that I play, which is really just One Piece, showing you my deck list. What I thinking? I have a Bonnie deck to do, but I gotta wait on my Bonnie starter decks to land, and then I will preview that for you all. But until next time, you're welcome to try my Carrot list, and I hope that my locals don't see this before I play it. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Like and subscribe if you're still here and you can hear that. And let me know any thoughts you have in the comments. Goodbye.